And welcome. Today, we're going to dive into the very first and, probably the most crucial step of any sourcing project, creating that initial sourcing request. So let's get right into it and see how you can launch your projects the right way straight from your dashboard. So does this look a little too familiar? You're trying to get a new project off the ground, but you're already just buried in scattered documents, endless email chains, and trying to track everything on some manual spreadsheet. It's not just chaotic, it's a real roadblock. I mean, who has the final version? It's anybody's guess, right?
Well, that chaos pretty much ends here. The dashboard is built to be your central hub, your mission control. It brings order, clarity, and honestly, a whole lot of speed to your entire sourcing process.
So let's explore how this thing fundamentally changes the game right from the very beginning. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the before, that familiar mass of requests flying in from everywhere. But on the right, that's the after, a single centralized view, an automated workflow that takes over all that painful manual tracking. And instead of those frustrating blind spots, you get full project oversight. It is a massive shift in how you work. Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of how to do it, let's zoom out for a second. It really helps to see the entire journey so you know exactly where this first step fits in. And this is so true. When you get the full context, you know where you're starting and where you're headed. You're not just following steps anymore. You're actually navigating the whole process with a ton more confidence. So here it is, the whole journey laid out. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with that sourcing request. And that's our focus today. Think of it like the formal proposal. Once that gets the green light, it graduates into a full-blown sourcing project. That's where the real planning happens. Next up is the sourcing event, which is when you start talking to suppliers, doing RFPs, auctions, that kind of thing. And it all wraps up with the award, where you make your decision. See, that initial request is the critical first domino. All right, now that we've got the map, let's walk through creating your very first sourcing request. It's easier than you think. So, what is a sourcing request really? Well, it's not just a quick email you fire off. It's the official, standardized document that captures all those critical project details from the get-go. This way, you're making sure that anyone who needs to approve it has all the info they need all in one spot. Ready? Let's do this. From your main dashboard, you're just going to find the Create menu. Click it, and from that drop-down list, you'll choose Sourcing Request. Seriously, 2 clicks, and you're already on your way. Once you're in, the system will ask for a few key details. You'll give it a clear name and description, of course, but also some really crucial data like commodity codes, which help categorize everything for later, and the estimated budget. And trust me, this isn't just busy work. This data is what powers the whole approval workflow and gives you amazing insights down the road. So you fill in those fields with all your project info, give it a quick double check, and then you move to the final and, let's be honest, most satisfying step. You click Submit, and that's it. Your part in kicking this whole thing off is officially done. Okay, you've clicked the button. So what happens now? Where does your request actually go? Let's find out. This is probably the question that's on your mind. Did it just vanish into some digital black hole? Nope. What actually happens is your request has just started on a completely automated and transparent process. So here's what's happening behind the scenes. The system automatically triggers what's called the default approval task. This is basically a preset workflow that instantly sends your request to the right people for review. No more guessing who to CC on an email or chasing people down for signatures. And just like that, your request is officially on its way. It has entered that sourcing journey we mapped out earlier, and now you can track its progress from approval all the way to completion right there on your dashboard. You get total visibility. So let's wrap this up by summarizing why getting this process down is so incredibly important. Remember that chaos we talked about at the beginning? This is the solution. When you start with a proper request, you get centralized control. You create clear, standard workflows for everyone, and you establish a single source of truth for the whole team. And what does that lead to? Faster, more organized sourcing cycles. It's really all about working smarter, not harder. You see, by mastering this one first step, you're not just filling out a form, you're laying the foundation for a successful, streamlined project every single time. So the only question left is, are you ready to launch your first one?
You know that massive headache that's